A violent clash broke out in downtown Los Angeles over the weekend as anti-vaccine protesters, mostly Proud Boys, decided to take to the streets, and they were met with counter protesters. So of course, violence is gonna break out. Look, we'll give you more details, including Fox's ridiculous framing and headline regarding what took place. But before we do, I can't help but show you probably the most embarrassing jump kick fail of all time, which happened to take place during this protest. Take a look.
Antifa! 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 Hey, bitch! Unmask them all! Bring his ass! Bring his ass! Come on!
I gotta say, watching that video it's infuriating. Watching that violence is infuriating. So the failed jump kick was necessary. It was necessary for a little bit of comedic relief. Cenk, I'm not gonna go to you yet because we're gonna take one more quick look at that jump kick.
Let's do it.
All right. I love it. Okay. Go ahead.
The whole melee was almost worth it for that failed drop kick. I mean, epic fails are, a term that's been used for a long time on the internet, but it was kind of invented for that moment right there. Allah, bam, down he goes. Oh man, that pretty much describes the whole right-wing Proud Boys nonsense group right there.
Right.
Like swinging at nothing for no reason and falling on their ass.
And also, we can't help but point out the irony that they're wearing masks to an anti-vaccine and anti-mask protest. So let's take a look at one of the images. But one could make the argument that they're doing so because they planned on engaging in violence, and wearing a mask, including those incredibly embarrassing sunglasses, is one way to hide your identity. Now let's talk
100%. And if you notice in that picture, there was a white pride sign as well.
Right. I mean,
there it is.
It's just, come on. So look, nothing breaks my heart more than seeing these goons in downtown Los Angeles, but they exist. The Proud Boys, unfortunately, also exist in Los Angeles. They're gonna take to the streets like massive dorks and try to get all the attention that they so desperately crave as these loser men who have nothing better to do. But what's also frustrating is that they were met with counter protesters who should have just left them alone so they do their dork protest by themselves. They would largely be ignored and we wouldn't be talking about this today. But unfortunately, someone ended up getting stabbed, okay? The extent of the injuries were serious enough that the individual, we don't know his identity, we don't even know the full extent of his injuries, had to spend a night in the hospital. He was recently released. We don't know if the victim was a Proud Boy or one of the counter protesters. We don't know the person's identity, so I want to be clear about that. But we do have some other details about violence that took place that day, including 2 different journalists being attacked. One of them is Tina Desiree Berg with the District 34 podcast. The other is a KPCC reporter, that's a local radio station. KPCC reporter Frank Stoltz could be seen walking out of the park near City Hall being screamed at by anti-mask protesters. One man can be seen kicking him. Stoltz later told a police officer he had been assaulted while trying to conduct an interview. Spell confirmed that a police report was taken. As far as I know, no one has been arrested in regard to these attacks. And Stoltz said this about the attack: "Something happened to me today that's never happened in my 30 years of reporting in LA. I was shoved, kicked, and my eyeglasses were ripped off my face by a group of guys at a protest outside City Hall during an anti-vax recall Gavin Newsom pro-Trump rally." That's the full name of the the protest.
Yeah, so lots of different angles to this story. First of all, look, we're all tired of the anti-mask, anti-vax clowns. And right now, there's still about 500 people dying every single day from COVID in America, and they're almost all unvaccinated. So congratulations on your anti-vax and anti-mask positions. It literally gets you guys killed, okay? So we're worried that it's gonna spread to us as well, but mainly you're taking the brunt of damage. It's kind of like that drop kick. All you're doing is causing a ridiculous fall and fail on your part, okay? But now to go to the counter protesters, guys, what are you doing there? Look, when I see a lunatic, I don't go and engage the lunatic. I quietly walk away from the lunatic because I don't want trouble for myself, for my family, etc. Now, it doesn't mean you don't fight back rhetorically and politically. That's what we do here, right? And that you should engage in that way, but in ways that are productive. And it doesn't mean that you don't do self-defense. If you see these sons of bitches coming for someone you know or care about or don't even know, okay, then you surround them, the person who's being attacked, and help them and defend them, okay? But don't actively go to their rinky-dink protests. Look, guys, people think that I'm saying this like, haha, rhetorically, we punch back, blah, 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 right? No, I'm pretty close to literal. It's like walking into an insane asylum and saying, trying to see if there's a fight you can have.
Right.
No, you don't walk into an insane asylum and try to see if the lunatics will attack you. And I feel bad calling the people in the asylums lunatics because they're acknowledged to have mental health issues.
Right.
Whereas these Proud Boys guys do not acknowledge their massive mental health issues. But I mean, think about how irrational they are. We want to die. We want to get the vaccine smeared on us and maybe smeared on you. Why would you ever even talk to those guys? The only terrible things can come of it, let alone standing off against them. I think gratuitously in this case.
Look, and more than anything, what the counter protesters end up doing, while I know that this is not their intention, is they feed into what these anti-vaxxers, what these Proud Boys desperately want. They want to be in the headlines, they want attention and coverage, and they want to frame the counter protesters as the dangerous, violent ones. And guess what? We're talking about police in Los Angeles and honestly across the country that have proven over and over again that they are on the side of these insane right wingers. We've seen it during Black Lives Matter protests. We've seen it in various instances. So you know the cops aren't gonna come to your rescue, and they certainly did not in this case. They didn't, they just stood by and let it happen. But that was to be expected, okay? So people end up getting hurt, and then you have the media that frames it exactly the way the Proud Boys want. Let's go to this Fox News headline. Antifa thugs clash with anti-mask protesters in bloody skirmish, one stabbed.
What a joke of an organization. Take news out of your goddamn name. Just call it Fox or Fox Propaganda or Fox Lies or something, and then we're okay with it. Okay, then I get it, you're conservative, you're allowed to do media if you're conservative. Okay, and you lie and we tell the truth and we battle over it and eventually we win, and that's what happens every time. News. It makes it sound like Antifa did the protest,
right?
And out of nowhere, Antifa came and attacked these guys when they're the ones that started it in the first place. Now, look, as always, there's some right-wing provocateur in there that has one out of context video. So were all the counter protesters perfectly peaceful? No, that's why we're partly saying get out of there and you shouldn't be there in the first place, let alone being aggressive in any way, shape, or form. So we're fair, we're honest about it. You think they're fair and honest about it? They take misleading videos,
right?
And Fox News then makes it seem like that's the whole story. And Anna's right. When you go to counter protest, come on, you know something's gonna break out, and you know the media is gonna frame it as you guys did it. Yet you walk into that ambush.
Exactly.
Right? So.
It's so frustrating.
Yes. All right, look, the last thing for me is, well, I'll give the last word actually to the members because they said a couple of interesting and funny things. But for me, look, guys, I'm worried, man. Yeah, those are small groups there, but we're all getting at each other. Today was the first day of school, parents against parents. Things are starting to devolve. It's not, if it was just Proud Boys and Antifa, maybe you cordon it off and it just happens rarely, etc. Nah, we're all starting to get at each other. And it's because we can't stand them. Then their total lack of logic, and they say, well, I get to spread disease on you. No, that's not part of your freedom. And they can't stand us. They think, oh man, they're taking my freedom away, man. I just wanted to make them sick and make me die. That's my freedom. And they really believe that with all their heart. And they believe we're coming after their kids and all sorts of insane conspiracy theories. How long is this powder keg gonna go before it blows in a giant way? And I'm super worried about it. I think it's only gonna get worse from here on out. But on a lighter note, we'll end on the members, tyt.com/join to become part of the show, because we do read your comments from time to time. Colorado Blue Blazer regular wrote in, that failed dropkick is a perfect metaphor for these jackholes.
Totally.
Mr. Arrogant said they're also getting out their anger issues that they're too proud to go to therapy for. Totally right too, right? Therapy, they do it in a rational way. No, me go do dropkick, me fall on ass, me feel really good about it. But actually the best comment comes from Navinix, who actually corrects us. And I like that too. Well, you guys are in a sense our editors,
I don't
right?
like it that much.
Okay,
I'm
no.
just kidding. I'm just kidding.
No, I love it, and you guys are great about it. Navinix writes in, let the record state that it is a failed roundhouse kick.
Oh, thank you.
That's a good correction.
You're correct.
It's an accidental drop kick. He didn't mean a drop kick. He meant a roundhouse kick, and he just fell on his ass. So thank you for the important correction.
You got it. Look, if you're gonna be attempting those roundhouse kicks, you better work on that core. Got to have good balance. And that guy, no good balance. Maybe spend more time at the gym, less time at these ridiculous protests. Just saying.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.